How's it going, guys? Welcome to Onslaught Reviews. Hope you guys had a good New Year's, and today we're talking about 1917. Alright, so I was pretty excited about this movie when I first heard about it. It got a very limited release near the tail end of December, basically meaning that the only people that really saw it were all the professional YouTubers and like people like film festivals and stuff like that. So it literally just got a full nationwide release just now. So I'm pretty much counting this for a film for 2020. But I digress. I absolutely loved this movie. This movie seriously left me in awe. It's kind of hard to think about. Freaking, there's so much about this movie that I really love. So before I lose my train of thought, let's just go ahead and get into this. All right. So the first thing I want to talk about is the editing. The cool thing about this movie is it's all shot and edited to make it look like one long continuous take. There's no cutaways, there's no like cutaways to different things happening other places. You're stuck with these two characters, just from start to finish basically, and it's really amazing. I've only ever seen a couple other movies like shoot and edit movies like this, and it's very tricky to do, but I really enjoyed it for that. Freaking the way it's done. You have to do a lot of really tricky little tricks, with movie editing and stuff like that to make this work. But honestly, it was outstanding. And the great thing about this is it doesn't drag out the story much at all. Within 5 minutes of the beginning of this movie, you're pretty much what's going on, and you're basically in the shit with these two guys as they're trying to make their way through enemy territory. So it really works out really well for the story overall. So yeah, it's kind of a strange experience seeing a movie like this, but honestly, I really think it helps the movie overall, and it was a really awesome experience to see this, for sure. Alright, so next thing I want to talk about is the cinematography. So not only is this film shot really well, it looks absolutely amazing. The set design is unbelievable, and just the lighting and stuff like that for some of the bigger, more action kind of scenes is just jaw-dropping. It's done so well that, like I said, it kind of left me speechless when I was watching it. But the thing that really struck me about this movie is the realism. I think this film paints a really vivid picture of what life was like for these soldiers during World War One. And freaking, like I said, you're with these guys pretty much through the whole movie. So you're seeing them like in the trenches and stuff like that, and you get a sense of like how that, what that must have been like for those guys that were fighting and stuff like that. And then them going through like no man's land and stuff like that. It was really, like I said, it paints a really, really vivid picture of what life was like for these guys. And honestly, it works really well for this movie. It's interesting to me because this paints a very mournful look at World War One, with like the horrors of war and stuff like that. But then it gives you these little glimpses and glimmers of hope here and there. And I think the contrast with this movie, with like the super brutal stuff, and then those nice little moments that you have in this movie, really works really fucking well in this movie for sure. So the last thing I want to talk about is the musical score by Thomas Newman. The music is so well done, and it brings so much emotion and depth to this movie that it barely needs any dialogue from the actors. You got these big, bombastic moments, then you have these small, little, subtle moments and stuff like that. And like I said frickin' earlier with the contrast, the contrast between the two works so well, and it paints such an awesome picture that it's kind of hard to beat. I went out and bought the music for this movie immediately after getting home from watching this movie. So, that being said, the music to me is just absolutely top notch, and it was outstanding. Alright, so overall, yeah, I think it's safe to say that I loved this movie. And after seeing that reboot of The Grudge, which I didn't even bother to do a review for, just in case you were wondering too, that movie sucked. But after watching that fiasco, I needed a bit of a restart for 2020 to see something actually worth seeing, and I wanted to give you guys something that like I could properly recommend, because I don't want to sit here and frickin' see a terrible movie just because frickin' I got to see a bunch of movies over the year. I want to see movies that seem good to me, and frickin' this movie 1917 is a great movie. You haven't seen any movies yet for 2020. get your ass to the theater and check this out because it's well worth your time. So, all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give 1917 5 stars. Alright guys, that's it for me. If you guys like what you've seen, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, it's Adam_Onslaught1. And yeah, see you guys in the next review.